Module 11, Symmetry. If you have ever made paper dolls, you may have noticed that you can more easily make them if you fold your paper in half before you cut your figure. This is because people have a right side and a left side that are identical in shape. That's a type of symmetry. A symmetrical object is an object that, when it's reflected along an axis, forms a mirror image. There are three types of symmetry in animals. The first is spherical symmetry. Spherical symmetry is when an organism can be cut into two identical halves by any cut that runs through the organism's center. This means that any axis along the organism will form a mirror image in the same way that a sphere would. The second type of symmetry is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is when an organism can be cut into two identical halves by any longitudinal cut through its center. Radially symmetrical creatures kind of look like a barrel, and any way you cut the axis from the top to the bottom of the barrel, you will have identical halves. The third type of symmetry is called bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is when an organism can only be cut into two identical halves by one longitudinal cut along its center, which divides it into right and left halves. Humans have bilateral symmetry. Now, most animals possess radial or bilateral symmetry, but there are a few with spherical symmetry, and even some with no symmetry at all. If you were to take an image of yourself, including all of your internal organs, you would notice that people are not internally bilaterally symmetrical. For example, our liver is located a little off-center, and so is our stomach. But symmetry doesn't look at those details. It has to do with an organism's overall shape.